What's cracking, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and thank you all for tuning in. It's Arena Crash season, baby. It might be a lot more Arena Cross than Arena Crash on the pro side, but the racing is still epic. Every weekend, there's awesome storylines, drama, takeouts, battles, and everything you could possibly ask for out of racing. And nowadays, we have several pro Arena Cross series, but tomorrow night we have the Kicker Arena Cross AMA series kicking off. But this year, they've expanded, and now they're the AMA FIM North American Arena Cross Championship. And you're probably wondering, what does that even mean? What does that entail? Well, we're going transcontinental, baby. Well, okay, not exactly, but there is some expansion in the contract. I'll clue you guys into how and where they're expanding to when we get to the schedule. But in today's video, we're going to preview the series and talk about who's racing, where said riders will be racing, format changes, things that I still don't know a day before the event, and much more, including the fact that we are guaranteed to have a new champion. The two champions for the last, I don't even know how many years, are both out. They're not racing, so the series is now wide open, and we'll get into all that and more. But before I do, I got to give a huge thank you to my channel sponsors. Thank you to ASV Inventions, thank you to Sirius Studio, and thank you to the DesignLabCo.com. If you guys buy from them, a small slice goes to me to help keep the channel going and support what we do. So if you guys are supporting them, you are quite literally supporting me, so go check them out. I'd really appreciate it. Let's get into the video. Alright, first of all, let's get into this AMA FIM Transcontinental National that's actually only on one continent. The series is headed to the Great White North. The AMA has turned into the AMA. Shout out to my boy Zach Heron for that one. But this year, the series is expanding to Canada, 4 rounds in 2 cities, but they actually don't count for the AMA AX Championship. It's a little weird. I think they're more standalone rounds, and maybe they'll count for their own championship in the Great White North. I don't know. I don't make the rules, and at the end of the day, it's more racing, it's more potential for new riders, and it should be sick. The only thing I'm a little bit skeptical about is how many American racers will show up to Canada. The travel schedule's already kind of brutal, and in Arena Cross, it's not like there's a bunch of high-dollar factory teams like there are in Supercross, so going up to Canada, that'll be a pretty big expense.
Don't give me that fat cat fancy lip wiggling! Are you gonna give Canada more money or not?
So maybe we'll see some of the top Americans head up north, maybe we won't, but I have heard some rumblings of some top Canadian racers that might be racing the Canadian round, so either way, I hope it works out, I hope it's badass, and I can't wait to see how it shapes up. As far as the rest of the schedule goes, it all kicks off tomorrow on October 11th in Huntington Beach, California. And this race is supposed to be like right on the beach classic or something like that. I haven't seen any pictures or anything of the setup, but it's gotta be sick. Then round 2 on December 20th in Boise, Idaho. I think it was originally scheduled for December 6th, but they've got a few riders that are racing both Arena Cross and World Supercross, so they're trying to cater to the riders and make sure they can race both series. Then round 3 on January 3rd is in Loveland, Colorado. I almost always go to that one, and I'm hoping to attend again this year. Then, for rounds 4 and 5, we're headed to Canada in Toronto, Ontario. And I'm just now noticing the American rounds only have 1 night of pro racing, and the Canadian rounds have 2 nights of pro racing. Honestly, kind of a massive bummer from the pro side, because 2 nights of racing in one location is sick. It's Titty City. It's good for the riders. They get to race 2 nights every time they travel to a new city. It's good for the fans. It's good for everybody, but apparently not the schedule, because they're not doing it anymore. But then, for round 6, we're back to the States on January 24th in Memphis, Tennessee. Round 7 and 8, back to Canada, January 30th and January 31st in Calgary, Alberta. And then the final stretch of the championship is all in the USA. Round 9 in Prescott Valley, Arizona on February 6th. Round 10 in Reno, Nevada on February 14th. The penultimate round is round 11 in Guthrie, Oklahoma on February 20th. And then the finale, the beach sand, blow up your bike, smoke out the entire Arena National in Daytona Beach, Florida on February 27th. So that's where we'll crown a champion. And remember what we talked about earlier. The defending champs of the series have left the chat, so unless Buddy Antunez shows up, we are guaranteed to have a new champion in the contract. The series is wide open. Billion-time Arena Cross champion Kyle Peters is out for this year. I guess he split with the Phoenix Honda team. I don't think Honda will support an Arena Cross effort. And in general, there's actually not really too many teams in Arena Cross at all, so KP couldn't find a ride. I believe he'll be racing World Supercross instead. Not sure if I'm at liberty to say who with or anything like that. But what I can tell you is KP will not be on the gate for Arena Cross 2026. And then there's last year's champion, Vince Friese. Absolutely smashed it last year. Total domination. Really didn't even need to smash that many people to do it. But no Vince Friese for this year. He will not be defending the championship. He will actually be racing a Stark Varg in the World Supercross Championship. Rest in peace to the field. But no KP, no Friese. Who is racing this series? For starters, here's my favorite coming into the series, the 200 of Ryan Brees riding for Moto Concepts. He's been runner-up in the series the last 2 years. He lost to KP, he lost to Friese, and neither of them are on the gate, so basic logic will put Ryan Brees as your favorite. And then there's his teammate, Austin Politelli, and check out the gear. Not only are they wearing no fear gear, but they're definitely also not scared. But Politelli could be a serious dark horse for the championship, incredibly talented. In past years, I think he's kind of relied on that talent, but starting last year, he really buckled down, started putting a lot of work in, and it showed on the racetrack, so I think Ryan Breece's biggest competition is going to come from his stablemate, Austin Politelli. Then we've got the Solitaire boys. First is Robbie Wageman. He had an unfortunate early exit to the series last year after a wrist injury, but he's back for 2026 and he should be a serious player. And then there's who I believe is his teammate, Cole Thompson. At least he was his teammate last year. And honestly, don't quote me on what he's riding. He could show up on anything. But Cole's on the entry list for round 1. His family actually helps run the series, and Cole's a Canadian, so he should definitely be a factor in not only the American rounds, but also the Canadian rounds. Then we got a Supercross racer turned arena crasher, and Justin Starling appears to be on a Yamaha unless my eyesight is really screwing with me. But he'll be really good, tons of experience, a seasoned veteran in Supercross, but Arena Cross is different. He'll adjust, he's got no choice. But this guy won't need to adjust. Then we've got Arena Cross specialist Steven Mages. He told me he's in for the entire series, and make sure you pay attention to the 73 because he will for sure slam somebody. Let the bodies hit the floor. Then we got a Swede. It's not Freddie, but it's Anton Nordstrom. After a gnarly, injury-riddled year in 2025, he's back healthy. I talked to him a few weeks ago, and he's excited and ready to go and race in the Arena Cross series. Then there's Cock Oil Calatian, Luke Calatian. His title sponsor literally says Cock Oil. It's on his helmet, it's on his bike. But cock-a-doodle goo, look out for Luke Calatian. Don't let him slip past your view. Then we got my guy, Dane Morales. He's been putting in tons of work at Club MX. He's looking better and better by the day. And on top of that, his dad supports the series with ASV Inventions, and they support the channel. So go check him out already. What are you guys doing? Fresh out of the B class, Nate Freehill is on the entry list. He's a great rider. He's young, so he's going to definitely get some experience. He going to learn today. And if there's any jumps for best whip, expect this kid to go upside down because he can get greasy. Then we got another amateur headed towards the pros, Orange Brigade rider Jeremy Fapani. Tons of titles in the amateur ranks, but now he's moving up and he's headed to the tight confines of Arena Cross. And I can guarantee you that nobody's going to care about any of those amateur titles when they're teeing them up. Then there's Slade Varola, looks to be new to a Yamaha, and check out his bike. It looks like he's got a stiffy. It's going to be really hard to ride like that, but more power to you, bud. Who remembers this guy? TikTok and Mud Supercross race sensation, Dalton Braggs, Daxton Briggs. It's Dayton Briggs. And I kind of joke about him just being a TikTok kid, but he's a lot more than that. He's a great rider, he puts in the work, and I think he'll be a factor. This guy's going to definitely want to head straight to the main because it's Carson Mainquist, not Carson LCQ Quist, so you got to live up to the name, my guy. Evan Stice is on the entry list. He spent the summer racing in the Great White North on a Trimuff. As far as Arena Cross goes, I have no clue what he's racing, but he's on the entry list and we'll at least see him at round 1. And same with this guy, Revan Gordon, the older brother of Landon Gordon. I think he might be on a Yamaha now that his younger brother signed with Star Racing, but he's on the entry list for round 1. And last but not least, Caden Lewis is on the entry list for round 1. And there's a very good chance that there's more riders. I hope there are because the more the merrier. But I got a provisional entry list for round 1, so I at least know who's going to be there. Not sure who's following the whole series and who's not. But then we've got one guy who will not be at round 1, but then was going to jump into the series later. And that rider is Kyle Bitterman, the underdog. Hoof, hoof. He's still trying to heal up from injury. He's not 100% healthy, and he's not trying to jump right into the deep end of Arena Cross when his body's not there. So he'll be at the same place that I'll be this weekend at the Muddy Creek 2-stroke race, but he posted on Instagram that he's hoping to jump into the series whenever he gets healthy. And then, what about our Canadian contingent? Who are we going to see in the Canadian rounds? I have already heard some rumblings that Dylan Wright is possibly signed up for those races, and he delivers every time. Call him UPS because he sends it until he ends it every time. And I'm a big Dylan Wright fan, but if you guys saw what he did in outdoors last year, imagine what he's going to do in an arena. Stay tuned. But Canada has tons of other top talent that I hope we'll see, like should have been 2025 champion Jess Pettis, near 2025 champion Tanner Ward, Canadian superstar Ryder McNabb, Red Bull KTM's Dylan Rempel, Canadian MXON representative Sebastian Racine, 6'12" Quinn Amiot, and many more. Full disclosure, I actually have no idea, zero clue if any of these guys are going to show up, but it's kind of just an overview of the talent in Canada and the people that I hope are going to show up and race. But that's the lineup and the potential lineup. Now let's talk about a huge change that was made last year but has been axed for this year. Last year, we had the inception of the Clash for Cash, the Gas versus Electric National. The 3 gas bike heat winners went to battle with the 3 top electric riders in a total electric versus gas showdown. And it was entertaining, it was really fun to watch, but it will not be back for 2026. I don't think the gas bike riders liked it very much. They can't hear the competition, it's kind of sketchy. And on top of all that, the AMA doesn't really want them mixing. The rest of the manufacturers don't really want them mixing, besides Stark. So it's not going to happen in America, but they are going to allow Stark Vargs in the Canadian rounds. That's where the FIM part comes in because they got different rules, different regulations, and different everything at the national. So in Canada, the Stark Vargs and the electric bikes can race in the pro class with the gas bikes. So if you want to see gas versus electric, look no further than the 4 Canadian rounds. And then to wrap this thing up, there's a few things that I still don't know anything about only a day before the event, but who doesn't love surprises? Party on! But as far as the format goes, no info yet for this year, but it should be the same as last year. Last year it was 3 heats, top 3 transfer, and then 2 LCQs, top 3 transfer out of those as well. And last year, the winner of each heat went to the Clash for Cash, but that race has left the chat. And with no electric bikes and no Clash for Cash, there's got to be some holes in the schedule, so I'm sure they're going to replace that with something. But then for the main events, there should be 2 A main events, and then for everybody that didn't make the A main, they race a B main event, the best of the rest national. I've also yet to see any info on the payout. Last year, it was really good, very financially rewarding. But this year, I'm really hoping the payout structure increased because they're only getting paid 1 night instead of 2. And with the riders only doing half the racing and racing 1 night rather than 2, they're definitely going to make less money, which is for sure a bummer for them. But with that being said, last year I did a video comparing the financials of Supercross and ARENACROSS if you're a lower level 2nd tier guy in Supercross. And being a big fish in a small ARENACROSS pond can make you way more money than being a small fish in a big Supercross pond. We should have Amateur Day Carnage Nationals back in the contract on Sundays, but honestly, they're really not actually that bad at all. The tracks are super easy and way tamed down. As far as watching the races, last year you could watch it at arenacrossallaccess.com. Haven't seen any info for this year, but at least go check it out if you want a chance at watching the action. And speaking of coverage of the races, I know a lot of you really like my ARENACROSS coverage. I really appreciate you guys, and I should be at least a couple of these, hopefully at least Loveland and Daytona. But as far as the rest of the series, I'm not really sure if I'm going to make a whole lot of them. There's another series that is almost primarily all East Coast races, so that's going to be a lot easier for me to get to instead of flying across the country. But we'll do our best. It's an awesome series, it's always entertaining, and it always makes for great content, so stay tuned. But you don't gotta stay tuned much longer today because that's all I got for today's video. As always, let me know in the comments what you thought of the video, if you thought it was some helpful information, if you're excited for the series, if I suck at what I do, or anything in between. We're here for all of it. But that's all we got for info for AMA/FIM Transcontinental Arena Crash Nationals. The series fires into life tomorrow night and it's gonna be absolutely badass. Make sure you guys check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.